What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be shoutcasting a couple of my final sets before reaching legend ranking in GBL. I did this in the Open Ultra League using a team of Gengar, Obstagoon and Scrafty, so obviously there's no legendaries on my team, but these three Pokemon counter the main legendaries that you see in GBL in the Ultra League, so that's the sort of reasoning behind these three choices. I have Gengar. It does really well against Cresselia. Most Cresselia are running Moonblast and Grass Knot. Some of them do run Future Sight, so you have to be wary of that as it will one-shot Gengar. But I find that a lot of the time Cresselia doesn't shield against Gengar, so you can just Shadow Ball and then farm down. I'm running Obstagoon and Scrafty in the back. Obstagoon has the double weakness to fighting, and so does Scrafty, and then Scrafty has the double weakness to fairy, and Obstagoon has the single weakness, so they share a lot of weaknesses. They do very similar roles, but the theory behind this team is that if I have a bad lead with Gengar, I switch to Obstagoon. I bait out either the counter user, which you don't see too many of them in the Open Ultra League, but there are a few like Escavalier, Shadow Machamp, sometimes Surfetched with Night Slash, and then Obstagoon as well is quite popular. But other than that, you don't really see too many. And then also Charmers, that's definitely going to bait out a Charmer if I bring in Obstagoon. But if we switch it in, we can pretty much always get to the Gunk Shot, so we can either retake switch advantage or we can gain a shield. So that's the reason for running Obstagoon. And then Scrafty does a pretty similar role to Obstagoon. I know that if they don't switch out when I switch into Obstagoon, then it means that whatever they've got in the back is probably weak to Obstagoon, which means it's also probably weak to Scrafty as well. So in that case I don't mind too much if my Obstagoon goes down, because I know that Scrafty can often take out whatever is in the back. Even though Power Up Punch is seen as more of a, like, you know, switch it in, boost up your attack kind of move, I actually find that Scrafty works pretty well as a closer for my team. But yeah, so with that being said, let's just go into the battles right now. Alright, so we're entering the first battle. We're going to be leading with Gengar into Typhlosion. So I think for this battle my opponent accidentally entered the wrong league, but that's okay. We're going to go for Shadow Ball, and here we should be able to switch to Obstagoon before they can throw, but we get weak connection so we're not able to, and that really annoys me, stuff like that. It's only one turn difference, but I could have transferred that Blast Burn onto my Obstagoon and avoided using a shield. But such is life. GBL's never been perfect, and this is one of the reasons why I don't play it as much as I used to. So switching to Meganium, so this is not a counter for Obstagoon, so I don't mind letting it go down here, because I know that Scrafty can probably clean up in the back. So I'm going to bring in the Gengar. We should be able to survive a Frenzy Plant, but not by much. And then here there's more lag. I don't really know what's going on, so I just switch out before they farm my Gengar down. I am going to shield this Frenzy Plant, and I'm going to go for Foul Play, but they actually switch and somehow my Foul Play didn't register, so that's awesome. I was able to farm down the Typhlosion, so that was like ideal scenario. And now they bring in Muck, so Scrafty is an amazing counter to Muck, especially if I've got a big energy advantage like I do here. So these Snarls, they're like doing 1 damage, you can't even see that because of Scrafty's Dark and Fighting type. It double resists any Dark moves, so they have to throw a Sludge Wave here. They switch into Meganium, but they go down to 2 counters, and now we're going to Power Up Punch again. We're going to get a shield, but we're going to boost our attack by 1 more stage, and they're not able to get to another charge move, so we take them out there. So Scrafty just sweeping endgame. Really fast countdown there for some reason, that's strange. We're going to throw the Shadow Claw, and then we're going to switch into Obstagoon, and they come in with Escavalier, so this is really bad for us. And it's likely that they're going to throw the charge move when we get to the second Night Slash, which they do. Great counting on my opponent's end. And now here we're just going to throw the Shadow Punch as soon as we reach it, because this will also be a CMP tie here. and we don't really want to shield our Gengar against the Escavalier. So we're going to switch into Scrafty, and they actually bring an Umbreon out. And now here, we're not going to shield the first one, it's probably a Flame Charge, and it'll do the least damage of all the charge moves that it throws, because now it's boosted its attack. We're going to go straight for the foul play, no point baiting, and we take it out, and now the Umbreon has no chance against Scrafty, so we take that win there. Into the next game, we lead into Obstagoon, so this is like the worst lead we can see. I play this differently pretty much every time. Sometimes they throw the Night Slash straight away, sometimes they don't. I used to switch out after 5 counters, but now what I do is I tank the first one, I charge to 10 Shadow Claws, and then I switch out. They switch into Cresselia, so we know that they banked a charge move on the Obstagoon there, but that's fine. We have 2 Night Slashes here to throw. A little bit more lag, but at least the Night Slash did damage, and now we get a boost, and now my opponent's lagging, and we should, depending on the IVs of the Cresselia, survive the Moonblast there, and now we're either going to get a shield or take it really low. We do get the shield, and they switch into Obstagoon there, but that's fine, we don't mind that. We're going to let this go through because Moonblast will do a lot more damage than a Cross Chop will. And they bring the Cresselia back in. We're going to go straight for the foul play, and if this lands, then we're going to switch into Gengar, farm it down. We're going to throw the Shadow Ball, it doesn't matter what it is, it's Talonflame. If this lands, then it'll do a lot of damage, and then we're going to throw the Shadow Punch after one more Shadow Claw, so that we take the Incinerate damage after the charge move. And now here we can just double shield and get to the foul play. And they quit because they knew that they couldn't win there. So again, finishing with Scrafty, super powerful, although that time round it was more the Gengar and the Obstagoon. This time we lead into Giratina. It's Dragon Breath, so we're going to switch after 6 Shadow Punches, Shadow Claws even, because that's when Dragon Breath Giratina gets to the charge move, but they didn't throw straight away, but that's fine. Now because of the Shadow Claw damage that we did, we only need to land 2 Night Slashes against this Giratina, and then we can farm it down. Although it will be super close because they are running Dragon Breath, so they're going to take us down really low. We do get a shield here, so that's good. They timed their charge move perfectly just before we reach the Night Slash. Now we're going to throw another one. We're running to get the second shield here because they're going to farm us down, but then we can just come in with Gengar and throw the Shadow Punch and take out the Giratina. So we take it out, and they bring in a Stunfisk, so we switch into Scrafty. We're going to go straight foul play here, and then one more counter, and now it's at half health, so we're going to be able to get one more foul play off and then farm it down with counters. Weather Balls, they don't do too much, but they're super spammy, so we're going to let the second one go through, and they do have another one stacked up, so we're going to let this go through as well. And then we switch into Gengar. We just want them to throw the charge move, but actually the Shadow Ball is going to do more damage than any of Scrafty's charge moves because Power Punch doesn't do much. And now they actually overfarm by 1, and that was probably a CMP tie there. They wanted to get enough energy so that they could throw against my Scrafty, but it backfired there, and we're able to Shadow Claw down the Politoed as well. So into the next game, we lead into Umbreon, so that's not good. We're going to switch into Obstagoon. They bring in Charizard, so we know here, as long as we win the switch advantage, even if we go down 2 shields to none, then we're fine. We also get the attack boost, so that's perfect. My opponent times their charge move perfectly so that I'm forced to shield because they know that because I got the boost, I'm going to want to keep my Obstagoon alive. And they do the same again here, so really well played on my opponent's end. And it's just a second Dragon Claw bait there, so And to be honest, we have no idea how much energy they have. We've not really been keeping track, so we just throw to get rid of it. And they bring in Cresselia here, so that's perfect. We get a shield, and then we get to another Night Slash, so that's awesome for us. But they are over farming a lot, so it's likely that they have Moonblast and then they're going to try and Future Sight like Gengar. And so they do get to the move before we can get to a Shadow Punch. And it was Future Sight. So you come in with Scrafty, it'll take 7 to get to a Moonblast, but they switch out and now we can just throw 2 Power Up Punches and then farm down the Umbreon, and then we're going to win CMP tie against the Cresselia. So they basically handed us the game there. I'm not sure if they were at 0 energy when they took out our Gengar or not, so it might have been that that was their only play to try and catch the foul play, but it worked out in our favour. And now my opponent quits there because a double boosted foul play will definitely KO. So we go 5-0 in that set, and then into the final set we lead Gengar into Giratina. So this is a Shadow Claw one, so we're going to switch into Obstagoon after 5. They have a Machamp, so that is not ideal. And we actually get the boost, so this forces them to throw a charge move, so that's really good for us, otherwise we'd probably have to shield our Gengar. So we're going to come back in with Gengar, farm up a little bit. We don't want to farm up too much because we don't want to even take a Rock Slide, because the Shadow Claw damage from Giratina has added up quite a bit. We're going to switch into Scrafty, and now they have a Talonflame. We're just going to go straight for the foul play. And they let it go through, so that's great. We're going to let it go through. If it's a Brave Bird, then we can actually farm down with Shadow Claws with the Gengar. And we get to another foul play, so that's awesome. We get the shield. And we're going to let our Scrafty go down now, and we're going to commit to farming them down. We know it's going to take 3 to get to a move, and they're only able to get to 2. So we throw the Shadow Punch, and then 1 more Shadow Claw, and we're just barely able to get to the Shadow Ball, and that's enough to take out the Giratina. So super clutch there. That was all because we were able to farm down the Talonflame. Into the next game. We lead Gengar into Cresselia, so this is ideal. They switch into Giratina, it's Dragon Breath Giratina. So again, we got a few Shadow Claws through just to weaken the Giratina, so that we only have to throw 2 Night Slashes. So there's the first one, but actually this time we should have thrown a few more because it becomes really tight with the farm down. So we're going to throw the next Night Slash. And yeah, they get to another charge move, so we're going to shield this. And we are going to commit to the farm down. We just barely get it. I'm going to throw the Night Slash straight away, hoping that the Cresselia comes back in, but it's actually a Swampert, so this energy probably was a bit wasted there, but that's okay. We're going to come in with Scrafty, and we're going to go straight for foul play. There's no point going for Power Up Punch here. And we're also not going to shield the Scrafty. This is also another Hydro Cannon. And they do shield it, but that's fine. And they switch into Cresselia there. So they've farmed up a lot of energy, so I think they have a Hydro Cannon stored up. So that's fine. We're just going to let the Scrafty go down. We don't want to try anything fancy and try and catch a charge move on the Gengar, because the Psycho Cuts and the Mud Shots will add up. We throw the Shadow Ball there, and we have to throw here. We know that the double Hydro Cannon, our only hope is that we can squeeze in an extra fast move somehow, but we weren't able to. So they got to the back-to-back Hydro Cannon, and they're going to take us out here. So we lose that game, and slight misplay on my end. I should have farmed up 1 more before I threw the Shadow Ball on the Cresselia. But that's okay, we make mistakes here and there. Good lead there. We're going to go for the Shadow Ball, and then we're going to switch into the Obstagoon. But they actually let it go through, so we shouldn't have switched there, because now the Surfetch can come in and farm us down, so that was kind of stupid. I should have just stayed in with Gengar. If I had to shield once, then that's fine. And they do farm us down there. We didn't even get to the second charge move. And we're thinking that they probably have Night Slash and that they would throw it blindly. So we came in with Scrafty, but that wasn't the case. And we do end up shielding a close combat though. So that's quite good. And we get a shield from them from a power-up punch. And then they actually switch into Umbreon. So that's pretty much GG's there. So we're just going to farm down the Umbreon from here. They do get to another charge move, that's fine. Doesn't matter. And we actually forgot that they had a Talonflame that because it went down so quickly. So we shield this and then we go for the farm down so that we can throw a foul play into whatever comes in next. But that was the last Pokemon, so kind of stupid. I could have just come in with the Gengar and ensured that I would have won. But they actually had Leaf Blade anyway, so Gengar was taking no damage from that Surfetched. So bad lead there, we switch into Obstagoon and they bring out another fighter, so this is not good. One Dynamic Punch is going to KO the Obstagoon, but we get to a Night Slash, so that's okay. This will bring it down to half health, so that's alright, but they do have quite a lot of energy stacked up now. We let it go through because there's no point keeping it alive. They'll get to another Dynamic Punch before we got to the third Night Slash. We let the Ice Punch go through. This Shadow Punch won't quite KO, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and catch an Ice Punch on the Scrafty, and we do that, so that's great. And now they bring in Shadow Swampert, so we're going to go straight for foul play again. And they let it go through, so we can just counter it down from now. We're going to shield the first one. And then we're going to let this one go through. And it was the Berserker, so we know that Shadow Claws aren't going to do much damage, so we're just going to go straight Power Up Punch as soon as we can reach them. And now our counters are going to be doing a lot of damage against this Berserker. We're going to shield this, even though it's a foul play most likely. And then we're going to go for the counter down. They switch into Poliwrath, we take it out with counter, and then we take out the Berserker with counter as well. So Scrafty cleaning up once again. Into the next game, we lead Gengar into Galvantula. So this is actually the final match, and I did start to see a few Galvantula. I thought maybe they were mistakes. I don't know why you'd use it in Open Ultra League, other than maybe beating Cresselia. We showed that because we're expecting a lunge, but one time it was a discharge and it took out my Gengar, so we know that we can get to a Shadow Punch and a Shadow Ball, and we win CMP there, so that was great. We're going to let the Moonblast go through. We go for the Night Slash as soon as we reach it. And they let us get to another Night Slash, so we're okay with that. And they are eventually going to throw a charge move. We're going to let Obstagoon go down. We're going to come in with Gengar, and we're actually able to Shadow Claw them down. And they have an Umbreon, so that's a GG's there. And I was half expecting my opponent to just quit the game here. They're kind of just wasting their own time really, but whatever. So I think here they decide not to throw any more charge moves at this point. But they didn't quit for whatever reason, so yeah, I don't know. But that was a 4-1 there, and that's going to be the set that takes us to Legend. So we have to just quickly catch this Medicham. And we get it, and now here we go. 3040, so we got quite a lot of rating from that 4-1. So there you have it. This was the team that I used to gain over 500 points in just 2.5 days to hit Legend rank in GBL this season. If you don't have an XL Scrafty, then you can probably make do with a level 40 Scrafty, but it's not going to perform as well. I know that last season I was able to hit legend rank with the same team, and my Scrafty was only level 42 I think at the time, so just barely excelled, and it still did okay. I was able to do just about enough to get to legend rank, but this season it performed way better as an XL at 2,499 CP, and yeah, it was just amazing for me. I'm sure you've seen with the battles that we just watched that I was able to sweep a lot of teams end game with just power up punch or just straight foul play. And yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, if you found it informative, then leave a like, leave a comment letting me know. And with that being said, thanks for watching, and I don't really know when I'm next going to make a GBL video, but if you're still subscribed to my channel at that point, then I will see you in the next video.